Hey yo guys, Ruby of Blue here and welcome to Sunday. Or in other words, Manifest Art Episode 4 Part 2, Keyframes. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna hop in my Discord chat. If anybody else wants to join me? Hello LPS. I missed you too. Ask for consent too. Hello Articuno. Okay, LPS. I have crippling depression. Hello, lonely embryo. I do not have a Discord for fans. It's Extreme Lucario. It seems like it'd be way too much of a hassle for me to oversee, look over, make sure there's no shenanigans going on in there. Hey Lucario Gamer. Manifest keyframe. It seems not, Stent. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna approve that easily abusable system that Extreme proposed. It seems like way too complicated. What are you sick with, Lonely? Hey Pietro. Have you thought of getting voices for this show before what happened in the last episode happens, or is that a plan you have already thought of? I don't understand the question, I'm sorry. Hello, Charizard and Thomas. Your streams are my lucky charms. I just found a shiny Guzzlord. Congrats. What's up, Zombie Chicken? How you doing today? really bad fever and then a cold. That sucks. Root beer tastes like beer. I've had beer, once recently-ish. It really doesn't. Beer tastes like what I imagine a plant root would taste like if it would liquid form. Although it did actually make the meal I was eating at the time taste better in a way. Not so much taste better, but like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Made the dining experience more pleasurable, even though I didn't like it all like the beer all that much on its own. Not the Ugandan knuckles.
Here rests the vanguard of the great journey, every arbiter from first to last, each one created and consumed in times of extraordinary crisis. The taming of the hunters, the Grunt Rebellion. Were it not for the arbiters, the Covenant would have broken long ago. Even on my knees, I do not belong in their presence. Halo's destruction was your error, and you rightly bear the blame. The Council was overzealous. We know you are no heretic. This is the true face of heresy, one who would subvert our faith and incite rebellion against the High Council.
I'm breaking my own rules. I'm RPing.
What would you have your arbiter do? When we joined the Covenant, we took an oath, according to our station, all without exception. On the blood of our fathers, on the blood of our sons, we swore to uphold the Covenant, even to our dying breath. Those who would break this oath are heretics, worthy of neither pity nor mercy. Even now, they use our Lord's creation to broadcast their lies. We shall grind them into dust and continue our march to glorious salvation.
What the fuck is going on in my chat? I believe the spirit of it is good as a whole, Stent. Hold your arms for the moment. Hello, Petalil Pearl. Pete. They're not really role-playing Extreme Lucario, they're more just being very, very belligerent. I should be coming out with a new Sonic-related video very soon. And this one is probably going to be my most controversial video. I suspect it to have quite a lot of dislikes. Well, maybe not quite a lot of dislikes, but a lot more than my usual video. If it gains any traction at all, that is. Which I don't know if it will. Hope it does. I don't know when I'll have it out, though. Been kind of working on and off on it. A hate vid. Don't think me so crass, Stent. I really hope the next 2D game, Izuka, like... I hope Izuka, for the next 2D game that the Mania team is gonna be working on, Izuka steps the fuck back and doesn't order them to recycle any old stages, or doesn't do any fucking meddling in their project. Really sucks how much of what I don't like about the Sonic Scaries can be traced back to Izuka. Like, he's the one that is responsible for the main problems I have with Sonic Heroes. And he's the one who's responsible for trying to turn Sonic into Mario with Lost World and partially Colors. About how Mania is overrated. No, I don't think it's overrated. I don't think Mania is really overrated. I think Mania's reputation is pretty much about 90% deserved. I mean, people can like Mania for the wrong reasons, like liking it because it doesn't have any story, or liking it because Sonic is quote-unquote is cute, quote-unquote, again. Is cute and childish, quote-unquote, again. I mean, those are really dumb reasons to like Mania, but most people like Mania because it's a good fucking game, and I agree. Honestly, don't know if I like Mania over CD. I like them both a lot. CD has more, CD has a lot more, what would I say? Substance to it, from like a story and world standpoint. It does more to advance this franchise than Mania does, but I think Mania has the better level design and gameplay as a whole, so I'm not sure. I don't like Mania as much as 3 and K, that much is certain. Even though I do think Mania actually does have better level design than all the 2D games, I think the substance, you know, everything other than the gameplay is also a factor, which goes into me liking 3 and K more than Mania. That's where I differ with a lot of people, is that I don't only look into the gameplay when I choose what my favorite game is. That's why Halo 3 is my favorite Halo game. It's because the gameplay isn't as good as Halo 1, the story isn't as good as Halo 2, but everything else is just so much better than those two games. I love it. Try to look at games as a whole when I'm judging them like that. Also the same reason why I like SA2 more than SA1. If it was just the Sonic gameplay that I was taking into account, then SA1 would be my favorite. But taking everything into account, SA2 is my favorite. Rather watch my live stream than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's going on right now? Amy is actually a guy. Oh hey, Silver League. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. You're asking, what vid is this and on what? I want to keep it as a surprise until I upload it. All I'll say is that I'm gonna be tackling what you might describe as the Sonic hatedom directly. Maybe hatedom is too strong a word. I'm gonna be tackling Sonic criticisms directly. A sector of Sonic criticism directly. In great detail. So it is a hate video about Aaron. You think too little of me. I'm disappointed. I want to try to stream more Ultra Sun later today. I don't know what time I'm gonna quit working on the animation today. Maybe about 4 hours in? It's interesting. I hope it'll be. I hope it'll generate a lot of discussion. Because I really haven't seen anybody take what I'm gonna be taking to task, like being very... I haven't really seen that many people being critical of... Or not as many people as I would have liked being critical about what I'm gonna be talking about. Hey Azzy, what's up, man? Top 5 pros and cons of Usum does have some segment that sort of puts the Phantom under looking glass. Well, I'll tell you, the video I'm working on right now is actually sitting at about 35 minutes at the current point in editing. It's very close to completion, my video is. You had your birthday 3 days ago. Well, happy birthday, man. Sonic Boom. The anime segments of Sonic CD are about 20% of the reasons why I love it so much. Oh, there is one part of Mania that I think is vastly overrated, and that's the opening. The content of it on its own is great, the animation is great, the art style and everything is great. It calls back to the pop art cover arts of Japanese cover arts of the classic games. But it's like the opening is mostly substanceless if you compare it to the CD opening, at least. The CD opening set up the story and everything, whereas the Mania opening, you know, Mania is meant to be a callback to the classic games and all, and I understand that, but like, Mania also does have its own story, and I think the opening would have been much better if it actually set up the story and actually portrayed the, you know, some foreshadowing of the events what we'll be doing in-game, sort of like Mania's ending animations do, which call back to the levels themselves. And I also think, the opening animation of Mania is way too cute for Sonic. Like, it's way too happy-go-lucky. It doesn't really have any edge like Sonic is supposed to. Like, even the designs themselves are, even though they're calling back to the Toei animation of Sonic CD, even then, they're still way too cute and short. for how they should look. The Sonic characters should look, you know, Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic. I just think that animation would have been a lot more memorable if it had focused on like fleshing out the story of the game and getting you hyped up for the adventure itself, rather than trying to evoke feelings of nostalgia through the imagery and trying to impress through the animation itself on its own. The one Sonic game you played last time I was here? I don't remember that is. Mania is clearly a love letter to classic Sonic and manages to portray Sonic as a carefree and have a good time type of person. I mean, you can do that, but still have that element of edge that Sonic needs and portray what's going to be happening in the story through the opening. Oh, by the way, I should also say that I much prefer, like, the alternate music for Mania's opening as well. I feel like the default opening music for Mania, you know, like I said, was my main problem with the opening, is that it's way too happy-go-lucky, and doesn't really have that sense of action or suspense. I think you can access that music if you, like, let the opening play twice in Mania. Also, I feel like the opening of Mania was sort of a misallocation. Doesn't it feel like a misallocation of resources? Because I feel like they could have put the budget, like all the effort and time and budget and money they like poured into the opening animation, and they could have poured that into instead making in-game cutscenes in between the levels. You know, they might be short little cutscenes to tie levels in between, tie the levels together, which is honestly something Mania really needs, because the level transitions in Mania can be pretty confusing. They could have used the animation budget from the opening to have in-game animation, well, not in-game, but animated cutscenes in between levels to contextualize things better. I feel like it could have really been utilized a lot more efficiently to make the game a lot more memorable. Opening as it stands right now is pretty cool and everything. I just feel like it could have been so much more. You know what's something I do with Mania? I actually, since we're, you know, I'm not bashing on Mania or anything. Actually, I love the game quite a bit, and it's the best Sonic game since SA2. But one thing I didn't like is too strong of a word, but one thing I prefer to do with Mania is I have a mod that mods the Sonic 3 Sonic sprite in, where he looks a lot older than in Sonic 2. And since Mania is supposed to be a sequel to, well, take place after S3 and K, Sonic should look older, not younger. And I feel like Sonic's sprite in the default Mania looks too young and is fur is too bright. So I have a mod that replaces the Sonic Mania Sonic sprites with a bunch of redone and updated sprites from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I think it looks brilliant. Sonic looks a lot older, like he should, and he also has a darker cone of fur, which I really like. Tails and Knuckles look perfect, though. I don't need to touch them. It's not really the fault of Mania, though. I feel that Sonic looks too cute and his fur's too light in tone, because, like, I guess they're kind of forced to make him look that way because he's supposed to be the cute, fluffy, plushy classic Sonic that Sonic Team wants to portray him as since Generations. So they kind of got their hands tied there. It's nice, though, that Sonic Mania's tie-in to Forces isn't anything too heavy-handed, so that I can just ignore Forces and act like it doesn't exist and slip Mania nice and neatly in between S3 and K and Adventure 1 with the help of a couple of mods for like visual consistency. I really like Sonic's S3 and K sprite. What I really liked about 2 to 3 and K is that Sonic does look noticeably older or more mature in 3 and K, so I kind of brought that back in Mania by modding it in. I think the transition from Sonic 1 to Adventure 1 actually is quite smooth in that you think with every game Sonic looks slightly older, so you go from Sonic 1 to Sonic 2, his fur gets slightly darker, and then in Sonic 3 he's a little bit taller, he looks a bit more, his fur's darker, he looks a little bit older, and then in Sonic Adventure 1 you're just going along that progression, and then in SA2 he's a little bit taller. I thought it was a really natural progression, and the green eyes thing really isn't really that big of a detail, especially when you could, you know, the camera was far away in 2D anyway. The thing is, I never separated classics 2D Sonic and the Adventure Sonic in my mind. They were always just the same character, which is what the intention was when going from S3 and K to Adventure 1. I feel like that's sort of been lost. Like, they could have sort of just, like, severed a line between them, and I don't like that. Especially starting with, like, Generations, they just, like, severed a line and, like, declaring them different characters with different styles. The thing is, though, Silver Lake, if you look at the actual official Japanese concept art or artwork for Sonic through 1 to 3 and K, the actual art makes Sonic look older. I mean, you look at the first art of Sonic from Sonic 1, he's shorter, he's a bit chubbier, he has lighter fur, and then in the Sonic 3 art, he's taller, has darker fur, and he's a bit more slim. That's the thing, is that ever since Sonic 1, it didn't just start with Adventure 1, ever since Sonic 1, all throughout the classics, they've sort of been streamlining Sonic's design into that more darker fur, older look that we all know. Also, I find it really... I kind of want to make a video about this topic. Something really interesting is that the OVA, anytime Sonic has been put into a medium where you need to be able to take it seriously from a story standpoint. They've always made Sonic taller and slimmer. So in like the CD opening, he's taller and slimmer than he is in the official artwork and everything. And in the OVA, which is pretty dialogue heavy and has a fairly serious story, they did the same thing. And then with Sonic Adventure, they did the same thing as well. So whenever Sonic has been put into a medium where the story is more of a focus, they tend to gravitate to more of that slimmer design that's easier to take seriously. Even in the sprite work itself, I feel like there's always been a slight dissonance to where the sprites have been taller and slimmer than the official artwork has portrayed. To be honest, if I was just an outsider looking in, I was comparing the Sonic 3 sprite to Adventure 1 model, I really wouldn't be able to tell a difference from a design perspective, except for maybe the green eyes. I hope SA3 plays like SA1 with Amy as a playable character. If Amy isn't playable in SA3, I'm gonna be pissed. Amy is pretty great. She had some really solid roots in SA1. Too bad they dropped her in SA2, though it makes sense. I always thought that Amy would be the more traditional platformer, more like Mario, where she'd use her acrobatics with her hammer and everything. Just expand on what SA1 did. The only problem I have with Amy in SA1 is that she only has 3 stages and that her acceleration is a bit slower. The thing is, though, the acceleration works perfectly with speedy characters like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles because, you know, you need to be able to control them. They need to start at a slower speed so you can control them and slow down if you need to. But with Amy, since she has a slower top speed, you don't need that slow acceleration, so she should be able to reach her top speed a lot faster. The Rush games give him tall and slim design of SA and beyond? Well, every 2D Sonic game beyond 3 and K went with the post-adventure design. It wasn't until Generations that Classic Sonic made a return because Sega wanted to play the nostalgia card hard. Only problem is that they, like, misrepresented Classic Sonic hard in Generations and beyond. I find it funny that they made him not talk at all, despite the fact that as soon as they were able to give Sonic a voice, literally, as soon as they were able to let Sonic talk, they did, in CD, and the OVA. Which tells me that they always originally intended Sonic to be able to talk and have dialogue in, you know, CD, which is, you know, talking is like probably a big part of Sonic's character, so it's understandable. But as soon as they were able to give Sonic a voice, they did. So it's just funny that they portrayed Classic Sonic as being a mute. Also, funny thing is, Sonic's first voice actor, or actress, was the singer of You Can Do Anything, the Japanese theme for Sonic CD, just with her voice pitched down. I'm out of here! Oh, right! Yeah! Amy is pretty great. Or she was. In Forces she was good, though. I felt she was pretty in character for a lot of Forces. Most of the characters were in character for a lot of Forces. I felt Sonic well, except for Tails. Tails was totally out of character for most of the game. But I feel like Sonic did still retain some of that douchebaggery from the Colors era of Sonic games. 2D Sonic can't have green eyes? Excuse me, but I would like to draw your attention to Sonic 3 and Knuckles Super Sonic, which had green eyes. I feel like the colored eyes, like, it's not necessary to have. I could go either way on the... it really doesn't matter whether they have colored eyes, but I feel like the colored eyes give a lot more life and character to the characters visually. I like them. Also, they're pretty meaningful, too. The reason they gave Sonic green eyes was because they... I don't know who said this, but maybe it was the Naoto Oshima, or the guy who designed Sonic, or the guy who... I don't know who said it, but they gave Sonic green eyes because he's always looking out at green landscapes and green plains and everything, so it's like a reflection of what he's always seeing. And then Tails, then it makes it fun to extrapolate from that and, like, theorize why the other characters have the color of eyes they do. So, like, Tails obviously has blue eyes because he's always looking at the sky. He's always looking to fly high, if you know what I mean. Knuckles, I'm not sure. Amy has green eyes like Sonic, except they're more on the blue side of the green spectrum. I'm not sure what that means, but it's fun to theorize about that kind of stuff. Also, was I the only one disappointed in Mania that Tails didn't use flickies or animals anymore as his attack dogs when he went Super? I thought that was a really neat thing with Tails when he went Super in 3 and K. Vector to get a super form? Oh yeah, that would be freaking awesome. I would imagine Vector would, like, I don't know, he'd make himself look even more flashy than Sonic does in his hyper form. Speaking of which, I'm extrapolating here, but I always thought it was like a really, like, some people, on the topic of Super Knuckles, some people say, why does Super Knuckles only flash a brighter color? Why doesn't he get a unique color like Super Sonic? And I was always like, that's just another, like, great part of Knuckles' character. Like, the difference between Sonic and Knuckles is Knuckles doesn't feel he has to make himself a flashy color like that. He only cares about getting the job done in his super form. So he doesn't care about altering his appearance or anything superficial like Sonic does. Knuckles' personality is like, I'm good enough as I am. Because, you know, unlike Sonic, he don't chuckle. He'd rather flex his muscles. He's all about business, not about being flashy like that Sonic character. I'm glad they kept Knuckles looking the same in Mania. Super Amy. Amy doesn't really have any superpowers like the rest of the cast does, and she's not really a fighter like they are. Well, sometimes fucking games make her seem like that, like heroes. But she's supposed to be like a regular girl without any extraordinary abilities, so I don't think she would really use the Chaos Emeralds. Hey, Luca. Hello, Rainbow Pencil. When do you think the animation will be over? Well, when I'll get this out? I don't know. Never able to answer something like that. I never know when I'll be able to get it out. Who is Atem, please? Is him the Pharaoh? Theodore? I'm assuming you're coming from my Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory video? Who is Atem, please? Is him the Pharaoh? Yes, Atem is the Pharaoh. And the being in the Millennium Puzzle in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is Atem, or as I theorized in my video, part half of Atem. I theorized in that video that Yugi was the other half of Atem. And Zork? I think... I'm not sure, but I think Kazuki Takahashi confirmed that at least part of the reason why Yugi was so dark, or why Atem was so dark when he was released from the Millennium Puzzle, was because he had become corrupted by the Millennium Puzzle's influence, or Zork's influence, if you prefer. Since part of Zork also resided in the Millennium Puzzle. Hello, Supersonic Girl. Hello, Hypershatic. Do you know a site where I can watch the entire anime in Japanese? Well, there are illegal sites like Kiss Anime that where you can watch subbed. It constantly gets taken down, but they like make themselves in a new like server or whatever. They put the site back up in like a new server. What story could you make with Amy Rose in New York? I don't know. How about her stumbling into like a crime syndicate and then exposing it or something like that? Have her like bouncing around on the roof on the sky across the skyline of New York with her hammer. Have you watched the entire series? I've watched Season 0, if you want to call it that, Duel Monsters, and GX, and a little bit of 5Ds. Not really interested in watching the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, since it kind of jumps the shark after... It kind of jumps the shark after it stops trying to pretend like... After it, like, goes far into the future and everything. Just... loses its touch with reality that it originally had. Like, the thing is, I don't watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of the card game, so I really have no reason to watch the other anime, the other series. Have I ever mentioned how much I fucking hate the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game? It's awful, I hate it. I like the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime because I like its story and characters and concepts. The way I like to describe it is the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series, the games were the excuse for the story. In every series since GX, I feel like the story is the excuse for the card game. Will there be fan art showing? Yeah. I'll do it after this clip. What I loved about the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters is that the card games in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime, and by extension the manga, the card games were like served as metaphors for the characters themselves, the characters' psyches, and metaphors for life. And like duels ended up in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series ended up being just as much of philosophy debates as they were like the games themselves. That's what I love about it. Is that they weaved the character development and the card game into each other. I'm not saying the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows don't do that. I really don't know if the rest of 5Ds and Zexal and Arc 5 does that. I haven't watched those. Just saying that's what I liked about the original series. The only reason I don't watch the newer stuff is that I feel like it's sort of lost its touch with what originally made it magic to me. And it's sort of just... I'm basically saying ever since Duel Monsters became the origin of the universe, according to the newer animes, that's sort of when I kind of jumped ship. And to be fair, Duel Monsters did that too. In like the fucking Doma arc in Duel Monsters, they said Duel Monsters created the universe, and that was sort of stupid. That was like never a thing in the manga. I'm content to just like skip the Doma arc, like go directly from Battle City to the Millennium World arc. Hello, Wolfie. Never watched Naruto. I really feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs to have some kind of return to form in some way, where the series returns to being about all kinds of different games rather than just Duel Monsters, like it originally was. I thought that was a much more interesting premise. And it was always interesting to see the new type of game they would play in every episode. It is called King of Games, after all. Also, I think a really big reason why the original Yu-Gi-Oh, both Season 0 and the manga and Duel Monsters, why they resonated so much with so many people is that it was like sort of an escapism sort of fantasy for kids who were bullied and marginalized in school, because you think it's told from the perspective of a pretty weak and timid kid who has an alter ego who's amazing at games and kicks people's asses whenever his friends are wronged or whenever he's hurt. Also, it had that really edgy undertone of darkness that I thought was really unique when paired with the very friendship-heavy message. What made the original Dark Yugi or Atem so interesting is that he was a dark character who utilized terrifying means to defeat his opponents, but he still deeply cared about his friends and his other self, and he was really a good person still. And he only did it to people who he thought deserved it. Same reason you like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the same reason you like Sonic? No, they're two different types of escapism. Sonic is more about being larger than life and going on an epic adventure, whereas Yu-Gi-Oh! Is more grounded in reality and about having friends and getting justice to the people who deserve it. Supposedly. Also, big part of one of the things that really resonated to me when I actually for the longest time I was a purely dub only Yu-Gi-Oh fan, but when I actually took a gander into the Japanese side, the original side of Yu-Gi-Oh, one thing that really resonated with me was like the strong philosophy aspect of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, where all of the duels with their characters were essentially competing philosophies battling against each other, and how they just basically explain their way of life and everything. That's what I thought. Something I really liked. Yugi's philosophy of believing in yourself and having your friends support you. Kaiba's philosophy of being the single best at a certain thing. Mai's philosophy of being entirely self-reliant and not needing anybody's help. Jonochi's philosophy of helping his family members and improving himself. Also, the Yu-Gi-Oh!, particularly the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga, has some of the best character development. Well, by best, I mean, like, most radical character development I've ever seen in anything. So many of the characters, like, throughout the entire course of the manga, undergo drastic changes in their personality in a way that makes sense and is realistic. Which really, I think, resonates with the theme of friendship and how if people have people who can support them, it can end up making them better people. Draw Dusty, E1. So, I just want to go over the change of every single character from the manga to how they end up in the final chapters. So Yugi is this weak, timid kid who is way too shy to ask people to hang out or be his friend or anything. And by the end of the manga, he's completely self-confident and self-reliant while still retaining his huge amount of kindness. And then Atem, or Dark Yugi, starts out borderline psychotic, and by the end he's a noble person who cares deeply about his friends and wants to do what's right for everybody. And then Jonochi in the beginning was a delinquent who was really bad at games, actually, and by the end, he had become a person who was focused on improving himself and had become a much better person. Mokuba was a little demon child at the beginning, but as the series went on, he became a lot more kind-hearted ever since he met Yugi and became friends with them all. And then Kaiba started out... Well, actually, Kaiba went like 3 points. He started out as a nice, innocent young child who was, albeit very intelligent and underhanded in a way, who cared deeply about his brother, to a complete monster who only cared about being the best in gaming and advancing his corporation, to a lot less of a monster, still an asshole though, who went back to caring deeply about his brother. And then Mai, of course, went from a completely self-reliant and selfish person to someone who had opened up and come out of her shell because of Yugi and his friends and Jonochi. Some people might say the characters of Anzu and Honda and other people like, is his name Usagi? The English Duke. His name is Duke in English. Unagi, Usagi, something. Basically, the characters who don't duel are completely superfluous, but I think even if they're not dueling, they're still important, because they're the supporting cast, which is, like, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is more important than your regular show. The supporting cast is doubly important in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of that theme of friendship, that the characters support each other. So even if they're not dueling, they're still important to the other characters. Also, I like how in the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, with Dark Bakura, they Kazuki Takahashi like to play a lot of mind games to where you'd ask, like, okay, is he actually being sincere? Is Dark Bakura actually on our side now? Maybe he can undergo the same transformation as Dark Yugi went and become a nice character. And you had Dark Bakura helping out Yugi and the gang a lot when they were in trouble early on, after, you know, his first appearance where he was just a flat-out villain. Anyway. Also, the duel with Dark Merrick and Dark Bakura is one of my favorite moments in the entire thing. I love it. Also, I like how a lot of the supporting cast and other characters, like, were introduced with their own games early on. So Mokuba was introduced with Capsule Monsters, Bakura was introduced with his real-time RPG strategy board, tabletop RPGs. Otagi is his name, not, you know, Duke Otagi. Otagi was introduced with his original game of Dungeon Dice Monsters. There's a piece of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga that the Duel Monsters anime largely ignored, or didn't go into as much detail as I would have liked, with Dark Yugi's development from someone who plays shadow games to someone who doesn't. The manga had Dark Yugi using shadow games on everybody who he thought deserved it, up till Duelist Kingdom, and he intended to inflict a penalty game onto Pegasus until Pegasus and him had a conversation about the Millennium Item's evil wills, in which case he stopped doing them right then because he didn't want to be considered evil. In the Duel Monsters anime, Yugi just stops doing games of darkness, shadow games, for no particular reason. Like, he had been inflicting mind crushes on every evil opponent up to then, but for some reason on Pegasus he didn't do it. Also, funny thing between the manga and the anime, in the anime, when Bandit Keith starts threatening Pegasus after he loses his duel, he takes one of his guard's guns and holds Pegasus at gunpoint, in which Pegasus sends him out through a trap in the floor and ejects him from the castle into the sea. In the manga, Pegasus inflicts a penalty game on Bandit Keith by turning Bandit Keith's hand into a gun and making him commit suicide. Jesus Christ. I love how edgy the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga could be. Pure ref? Not really. I don't really need it, E1, so I haven't really looked into it much. Okay, let's set this clip up and then look at fan art, and then I'm going to take a little break. What are some other penalty games that the manga had? I know in Duelist Kingdom, Yugi had different penalty games for every character, whereas in the anime, he just used Mind Crush over and over. I can't... What was the first character he inflicted a penalty game on in Duelist Kingdom? It should have been the first player killer, right? The one who was impersonating Kaiba. I think in the manga, his penalty game was making the player killer's puppet possessed and then making the player killer imagine that his puppet was killing him. And then on Panic, Dark Yugi made him like imagine he was hanging himself from a gallows. At least he's inflicting illusions on them and not actually killing them. Tell anything about Exodia and Zork? What? Which is better and why? I don't know. I don't like the card game. I know Exodia has to be stronger because in the card game, because as soon as you've assembled all the pieces, you instantly win. Alright, here's my little animation. Also, by the way, I recommend that you read the Millennium World arc of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga. It's basically the last season of the Duel Monsters anime, the one in Atem's Memories, except the events seem to play out a lot differently. Like, a lot of different shit happens in the manga compared to the anime, which I was really surprised by. Alright, let's do some fan art. When Zork was summoned, he managed to defeat Exodia? I don't know. I don't think Zork was a Yu-Gi-Oh card at that point, though. So... Alright, I got a couple of stuff. Oh, we got some stuff from Craving Crows. You guys are gonna like this a lot. Alright, so this is Shade from Craving Crows. Beautiful boy. What a gay doggy. Okay, and this isn't fan art. Next, this isn't fan art of Manifest Heart, but this is something Sean Chiplock, Shredder's voice actor, had drawn for him. Sean had like a Grovile OC like drawn for him by this the artist who did this. I think it's super cute. It's like a Grovile Sona that Sean has. Okay, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. I will be back in about that time, so stay tuned for more animation stuff, I should say. We'll do the rest of the fan art at the end of the stream. I'm back. And I got a cat. I got a little kitty with me. Do you want to see the little kitty? There she is. Oh, she's too close to me. There you are. Hello, Bill. Hey. Hey. Little pretty girl. Hey. I'm gonna put you up there. Go up there. Yeah? Oh, you're such a little princess, aren't you? You're such a beautiful little princess. No, don't come back down here. No! Stop! Ah! I'm dead now, sorry. She ate me. Nope. Stay up there. I'm putting you up there for a reason. There's no room for you down here. Oh hey, my favorite music track from Sonic 06 is playing. Yes, I am her throne. That's a perfect way of putting it. Nope, stay out of my coffee. What are you doing? She's trying to get into my coffee. I got coffee, by the way. I love coffee. Alright, I need to do some storyboard stuff, so I can't let you see. Well, I can't see my screen when you're sitting there. A Stent, random question. What would you have the first stage of the next 2D, or not 2D, well, the next... What would you have the first stage of an Adventure 3 or the next 2D Sonic game made by the dev team of Mania? What would the first stage be? Would it be like, you know, the typical green landscape kind of stage? Beach? Beach? Like Emerald Coast? Or city like City Escape? Or like some kind of other thing? What kind of first stage would you have? I find the first stage of each Sonic game is kind of indicative of what the rest of the game will try to do. So like Sonic 1 had, you know, Green Hill. It starts with a pure nature landscape, and then as the game goes on, it gets more industrial. Or we get to see more industrial places. And then Sonic 2, Emerald Hill was a lot like Green Hill, and that it said to me that this is we're gonna do kind of the same thing as Sonic 1, but better. And I do think Emerald Hill has a really nice aesthetic, a refined aesthetic to Green Hill. And then Sonic 3 had Angel Island Zone, which was like, we're gonna do a similar thing, but we're gonna subvert your expectation and set it on fucking fire. And we're also going to make it more cinematic, which is like what Sonic 3 and Knuckles did for everything. And then Sonic CD did a similar thing to Green Hill, but made it like alien and like foreign, because it used like triangles instead of squares for its textures. Which makes sense because it was a different planet. And then Sonic Adventure 1 had Emerald Coast, which introduced like the Sonic running away from things theme that would be recurring in the 3D games, and then it introduced the little act structure in which it had a different piece of music, much different piece of music, with the different acts and everything. And Emerald Coast pretty much introduced all the concepts we'd be using in the game, like running on walls, running upside down through cylindrical places, running away from things, dash panels and all that. And then City Escape established the unashamedly badass and fun nature of SA2, while still also having that bite of edge with the truck chase at the end. A first level in a Sonic game should be like a harbinger of what's to come. It should be representative of what the rest of the game's gonna be like, in some way. For me, I'm not sure what I would do with an SA3. What I would have the first stage be. I'd have to assess what my priorities are with the game from like a world, tonal, story standpoint. But I'd want to do something different from Green Hill. I'm thinking something naturalistic, but while still being friendly and welcoming, but different from the green landscapes of the usual first level. Kind of like what Emerald Coast did. It was kind of a subversion in that it was tropical and coastal, but it still had a lot of green in it. I want it to be memorable. I want it to stick out in people's minds. I want it to be different, but still follow the philosophy of being bright and welcoming, like the first stages of Sonic games usually are. What landscape do you think would fit that criteria? What if it what if in my opening game it would like start at like, what if the beginning level began at like before the sun rises, and that by the end of the stage, kind of like Speed Highway, by the end of the stage the sun has started to rise and it's dawn. Like it's the start of a new adventure.
Fail.
The first level must be a tutorial level. Yeah, obviously. Though you can do a tutorial level without having to actually manually take a player through the tutorial. As long as you design the level in a way where the player has to learn about the different mechanics, you don't have to tell them directly, cut and dry, how to play.
Abiel?
You coming to sit on my lap while I draw? You wanna be an artist too? That's an interesting idea, Snit. Running through the Nevada desert before the sun rises, and then ending the stage in the not Las Vegas area at dawn. And then you could have your token casino level in the next stage. Did SA2 really have a token casino level? I don't think it did it? SA1 had one with Casinopolis. There were no casinos in SA2. I'm running through the levels in my head. There had to be some level in SA2 with some casino-like element. The best tutorial level is the World 1-1 from the first Super Mario Bros. Yeah, I'd say that's a good basic starting point. The first level of Mario Bros. Teaches you all the basics of the game and everything in a safe environment. Hello, Zorua and TM. What would be Shades and Shredder's natures? Shredder would probably be adamant. Shade probably be gentle or docile. Gentle or docile, probably. I think SA2 might be the only Sonic game that doesn't have any casino-themed levels. Even Shadow the Hedgehog had casino-themed levels, or at least one. Casino Park. Actually, Sonic 06 didn't have one, did it? Advanced 2 didn't have one? Mania? Norm did Mania? I don't know, I feel like Studiopolis kind of fills that void, you know? And Mirage Saloon, yeah. I think Sonic 1... No, Spring Yard was Sonic 1's sort of casino type of thing. Or at least it started with the seeds of that kind of theme. Because Spring Yard had that playful nature with, like, the neon signs all around. It just didn't have the slot machines. Lax? I'm not sure what lax means. What the definition of that word is. I know it's defense plus, physical defense plus. I'm not sure Shade is really all that defensively bulky. I know Torpedo would have to be a speed plus nature with 31 speed IVs because he's fast! Unnaturally fast for a Pelipper. So he needs all the speed stuff he can get. And so I'd say Torpedo is about as timid. Choice Scarf didn't exist until Gen 4. Do you see Torpedo wearing a Choice Scarf? He has the fucking Go goggles. Torp was wearing a scarf. Pyro is wearing a handkerchief. Sai is the one who's wearing a scarf. Hello, Patrick. Ruby, you're the reason every you're the reason name every Pelipper torpedo and every Kadabra Psi. Dash. Watching since episode 2 part 1 was out. Awesome. Hope you like it. Bill! What are you doing? Why are you scratching at my arm? Stop! What are you doing? She's like laying behind my monitor tablet and sticking her paw out and swiping at me. Do you want attention? So, baby, what are you doing? Bill? Ah! What are you doing? Fail! Stop it! What are you doing? What are you doing, little kitty? Fail! What are you doing? Why are you being so crazy right now? My cats come and go on my desk as they please, pitch black. Hello, Connor. No, don't push stuff around on my desk. Stop. Do you want to go outside already? Alright, I gotta put her outside. Belle really never stays in my room that long, unless she's sleeping. My favorite episode to work on so far? I don't know. I could say the first one, because it was like, I was like figuring everything out and trying to get everything established. But I could say the most current one, because I've refined my process so much that it's the easiest it's ever been. I don't know. Each episode takes to make, it's really a toss-up. I really can't say. It'd take a lot to be able to measure that, and I'd have to work consistently, no matter what the no matter what the length or complexity of a single clip is. Sure, Wolfie. Just send it on Twitter or DeviantArt. I think I'll be streaming for only about an hour more, so I think we'll have time for one more clip for this stream. I really, really, really want to get to more Ultra Sun today. We like got cock blocked really, really hard on the last Ultra Sun stream because like YouTube servers went down right before I was about to battle the champion of the Elite Four. Or do the champion battle, I should say. Hello, Rupert. You left for a while? We showed a little bit of fan art. You should be able to rewind if you want to see that. Did you show mine yet, Ruby? What was your fan art again? I don't remember. I definitely didn't show it this time. Maybe it was on the last stream? Oh shit, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to draw the background on this one. Ryalu disguised as Poniard. I think I did show that. Yeah, I think I did. On the last stream, or one of the last streams. Hello, Awash. So convenient just making the keyframes directly from my storyboard layouts. All the compositioning and poses are mostly there already. I just gotta refine it all and finish the animation. Hey, Mickey. Again. Hey, Armazine. How do you send fan art? Yeah, Twitter or DeviantArt. My links for those are in the description. Don't worry, Wolfie. It's the thought that counts. Alright, one more clip, and then I have to end the stream. Super Mario Odyssey. It looks great. I want to play it. And I definitely will at some point. Hey, Miss Dairy. It goes good. Thanks for asking. Can I give Shade a belly rub? Hello, not even once. Careful, Wolfie. That might count as RP. You don't take too kindly to that around these parts. Death Torp? Huh? Hey, Yandel.
As the sun shines down on me, I hold the key to give. Take hold of the destiny I may give you life. Can you stay forevermore? Or are you gonna leave for me? No matter what it takes for Stay close to me, my love. You've taught me that life can be revived with the smiling face. The meaning of my destiny can be changed for your love. I can rule the world, my love. Can you see that we can all survive? If you'll be by my side, the world will be a better place for us all. I will make my way.
If you were to RP for 3 hours, what would be the setting? I don't RP, so I don't know.
Sharing of my life, destiny will never be for your love. You know I will rule the world, my love. Memories of you, my heart will feel. Trusting in your love, peace will come to you and me and the world. Peace will Sometimes I ask myself, what am I doing here? I think of all the reasons, but it's still not clear. I look at places to go, there's nothing near. So take me away from this, 'cause this place I hardly miss. So take me back in time. What am I doing now by coming back for more? Is it me, or have I been here before?
Let's see, can I recycle a background from the last part? Hey, Wolf Razor. If you were able to become a Pokemon, who'd you be? I'd be Absol. I'd just probably default to my favorite Pokemon, Grovyle. Can I reuse this background in this scene? Let's see. Looks like it would fit quite nicely. Perspective's about the same. Hey, that works quite nicely. No reason to create any unnecessary work for myself when I can just reuse an asset from the last episode. Recycling animation. Stent is a painting animation. In fact, recycling animation is something I really need to do. I really need to... I've nailed my process down, so the next thing I really need to do when it comes to making the episodes is finding efficient ways to allocate my time. So, I need to recycle animation where it makes sense to, and where it isn't, it doesn't get repetitive. So just enough to where I can save myself some unnecessary work, but not enough to where it degrades the quality of the show. Actually, like, I'm actually kind of fond of... I like recycled animation when it's done in certain ways. Like, this may be just the way, like, the shows that I grew up with, but the Pokemon anime, I really liked when... actually really liked when they recycled the animation of Satoshi turning his hat around and throwing a Pokeball, because even though it was recycled, every time it played, you were like, oh shit's getting serious now. And I loved it. And it was such a great piece of animation, too, that I didn't mind at all seeing it over and over again. And in fact, that every time it did come up again, I was conditioned to think, oh my god, this is getting serious, this is awesome. And same thing with Code Lyoko, too. Code Lyoko, early on especially, reused a lot of animation, but it reused it in a way that got you pumped, because it, like, they always reused animation whenever they were getting ready to strike back against Xana. And with the awesome Code Lyoko theme playing in the background, every time they reused an animation, it got me pumped. I didn't go, oh, they're reusing this. I'm like, oh my god, we're doing it. We're going to do it. We're gonna fight against Xana. We're gonna do it. So I think reusing animation can, like, be actually really effective and work to the show's benefit if done properly. Alright, well that's the last clip I'm gonna do, but let's finish off showing fan art. Alright, so here is a human shade from Miki. Little doodle he did. Let me go to Twitter to see what else we've got.
It's your main man Knuckles, and we're Media Herd. You
Alright. Thank you, Mickey. Show on the other one that Mickey made. I like this one. Here he drew Shredder. This is awesome. You made Shredder look like Nessie from Super Mario 64, and by that I mean you made him look really cute. Thank you, Mickey. Alright, next we have from Wolfie, this funny little piece of shade cross-dressing again. That seems to be quite a common theme among people who do fan art. Thank you, Wolfie. Next, we have a sneak peek of what E1X Blaster is working on, a drawing of Dusty. It looks pretty hype already, E1. Can't wait till it's done. Nessie or Lapras? Well, Nessie's pretty basic from N64. I like Lapras more, because I'm more of a Pokemon fan. I don't know. You tell me, TM. This is the first time hearing of it. Alright, it's gonna look awesome, E1. Alright. Another thing from Sean, that's not fan art of Manifest Heart, but I found it on the artist's Twitter anyway. Sean's Grovile OC that she drew. This doesn't have anything to do with Manifest Heart or me, but I just think it's cute. Welcome back, not even once. Alright, and to close it off, we have the amazing little painting from Craven Crows featuring her amazing badass Shredder design. He looks like he could chomp your fucking neck off. Always a treat when Craven Crows checks in with some fan art. TM, your lucky stent isn't looking right now. That's awesome. I love Craven Crow's artistry, art style. That's awesome. Alright, sorry for the short stream today, everybody. I would have got a stream longer, but I got up a bit late. But I want to stream Ultra Sun in about an hour, so I'm going to end it here, and then we're going to pick up on that, and we're going to do the champion battle of Ultra Sun and do some post-game stuff as well. Maybe we'll finish it, maybe we won't, but it'll be one of the last streams with Ultra Sun. After that, I want to do Crystal. But for now, I will take a little hour break, and then I'll get back to you with some Ultra Sun. So, peace out.